I'm Erica Olsen, and welcome to Inside SoCal. Something new is brewing in Southern California, and we came to the source.
We are standing in a coffee farm in California,
Which is wild because
it's so crazy because there haven't traditionally been coffee farms in California. So this is a new thing.
But farming is definitely not a new thing for Lisa Tate Soury, whose farm, Rancho Filoso, was started by her great-great-grandfather in 1876, a pioneering story that began on the Oregon Trail.
In 1852, on May 5th at 2:00 p.m., they set foot on the trail. And they traveled an average of 4 to 10 miles a day. And then they ended up making their way down to Ventura, and they bought a tract of land, 350 acres. And he started growing lima beans that eventually were replaced by walnuts, then Valencia oranges. His daughter then farmed it, my mother, and then me.
against all odds,
Yeah,
this is here.
It's an American story.
You still grow avocado and citrus here, right?
Yeah.
So when did coffee come into the picture?
Farming's a really risky business, and so one of the ways we try to reduce that risk is by diversifying. We decided to try coffee and see if it could be grown here, and yes, it can be grown here. And then the second part was, well, is it any good? And yes, it's very good.
Lisa grows the beans, but needed a partner to take her coffee from bean to cup. So she met up with another local business, Ragamuffin Roasters, who are experimenting with roasting techniques to bring out the unique flavors of these special beans.
California coffee is something completely new. We tried to take a delicate approach with it. We wanted to try a lot of different levels of roast. What we're looking for with this lighter roast is we want to bring out some of the more subtle notes, some of the honeydew, plum.
Honeydew.
Yes.
I would have never guessed that there was a flavor profile in coffee that was honeydew. I'm used to, seeing bags of coffee from Africa or maybe from South America. Why isn't there more coffee coming out of California?
Coffee is only grown around the equator. Generally, it has to do with elevation, humidity, and also the price. It is a lot cheaper to grow coffee elsewhere than it is in California.
We seem to kind of mimic the higher altitudes of the tropics down here in our coastal little communities. So the California coastal areas seem to be good places for growing coffee.
So how many coffee plants do you have here?
We have about 1,200, about an acre and a half. The coffee plant has cherries growing on it, and each of these cherries usually produces 2 coffee beans.
Oh my gosh.
You also have to harvest when it's exactly right. So we'll paint our fingernails the color of a perfectly ripe cherry, and we'll go in and we'll harvest them. And this just got harvested and came off of the farm.
Got it.
And we bring them down here, and our first step is floating. The ones that sink are the ones that have the nice, good bean, and those are the ones that are gonna move on to the next step.
So we've got some good coffee beans in the making.
This is one of my favorite things to do, actually taste the coffee, because we worked so hard on it. I'm gonna take you through what's called a cupping, and there are people who train for years and years and years to be able to be qualified to taste coffee, and they're called Q graders or cuppers, and there's only about 2,000 of them in the world.
This is a precise process. 200-degree water is poured over the grounds and then cleared away for the tasting.
Are they the ones that are scoring the coffee then?
Yes, so they score. It's on a scale of 0 to 100. Anything above an 80 is considered specialty coffee, and it's very, very rare to get into the 90s. We are super fortunate that some of our coffees have made it into the 90s. This is the fun part. So you slurp coffee, and the idea is to get it into the back of your throat and really try to focus in on the flavors as you do it.
Okay. We got it back there.
What's clear is that Lisa is forging a path forward using ingenuity and good old-fashioned elbow grease, exactly what her family has done for generations.
It feeds into that kind of pioneering spirit that I think that my family brought, with them.
Incredible. I'll bet you're thinking about your daily cup of coffee a little differently. For Inside SoCal, I'm Erica Olsen. We'll see you next Sunday. I mean, truly, this is so crazy.
Inside SoCal is sponsored by Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel.